Okay, good morning everybody. I'm sorry, I tried to look for videos that would explain inverse proportionality and stuff in a different way, but I couldn't find any. So you're left with me, okay? So, quick recap from what we did yesterday. Yesterday we looked at direct proportions. Okay, direct proportions, basically if one side goes up, the other side goes up, or if one side goes down, the other side goes down. The example we looked at yesterday with sweets do it quite slightly differently today. We had, for example, if 5 apples weigh 1 kilogram, okay, how much would 10 apples weigh? Okay, effectively, you can do it in two different ways. You can just think of it as fractions or as ratios. And if you double one, you can double the other. So if you have 10 apples, how much would it weigh? 2 kilograms. Okay? If you have 1 apple, how much would it weigh? It would be 1/5 of a kilogram, which is 200 grams. Okay? And we looked at as well the formula for direct proportionality is y equals kx, where k is the constant of proportionality. Okay? And the constant of proportionality here, well, we can put these in to find this, okay? So for example, the first one here, we've got 5 apples weighs 1 kilogram. So here, our y value is y. Our y value is 1. So 1 equals k times 5. Okay? So k equals 1/5. Alright? Okay? I hope that's clear. Sorry if I went a bit small at the bottom there. But basically with direct proportions, when one goes up, the other one goes up. When one goes down, the other one goes down. We have a value, a constant k, and the formula for direct proportionality is y equals kx. Okay? So let's take this off and we'll have a quick look at inverse proportions here, okay? Inverse proportions. Now, it's still proportional, okay? But this time it's slightly different because, for example, here, okay? For example, I mean the obvious example that we use is if it takes one person 3 hours to paint a wall. Okay? If it takes one person 3 hours to paint a wall, how long would it take 2 people? Now, the answer is going to change. It's still a proportion, but here, instead of one side going up and the other side going up, we have one side going up and the other side going down. Because here, if it takes one person to 3 hours to paint a wall, one person 3 hours, 2 people will take less time. They'll only take 1.5 hours. 3 people, this is presuming they all work the same, that is. 3 people will only take 1 hour. So here we've got one side that's going up, but the other side that's going down. Okay? This is what we call inverse proportions. Yeah? One side goes up and the other side goes down. Now, if direct proportion is y equals kx, okay? Inverse proportions, the formula here is y equals k over x. Okay? So in this example we have here, we can just put our numbers in the same as we did with the direct proportions. We've got y, so if one person takes 3 hours, so we're looking at the time is the y, so we've got 3 equals k over our x value is 1. Okay? So 3 equals k over 1. We multiply that together. We've got k equals 3. Okay? And again, we can check that just by putting these, putting them into the equations here. So, for example, on this say, we could say how long would it take 4 people to paint the wall? We can say y equals 3 divided by 4. So the answer is 3/4 of an hour. Yes, which is 45 minutes. Okay. So that's how we use that inverse proportions. Now I'll just do one more example for you on the board here. Okay. This is a real example rather than my thinking one in my head. Okay. We have a question here. All right. The question here says, y is inversely proportional to x. Okay. Given that y equals 12 and x equals 6, find y when x equals 8. Okay? Now then, again, we know this is an inverse proportion because it says it in the question. Inverse proportions, our formula for an inverse proportion is y equals k over x. We need to find k. So, all we do is put in the values that we know. We've got y, 12, equals k over 6. Right? So we multiply that out, and we've got k equals 72. Okay? We multiply that out, we just times by 6 here. Do that in a blue pen. Those cancel out there. We have 6 times 12. We've got 72. Okay, excuse me. So, we want y, find y when x equals 8. So we got y equals 72. Put x value, we've got the 72 as k. My y is 72 over 8. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So y equals 9. Okay? And that's the straightforward way of doing it. We have to think a little bit sometimes to work out the equations and that. But basically with these, generally speaking, you'll be given one set of numbers. Okay? You have to find out whether it's the slightly difficult part is where you have to find out whether it's an inverse proportion or a direct proportion. And you do that just by trying it and seeing. If they don't tell you, you will probably be given 2 numbers here. Not just one set of numbers, 2 sets of numbers. Okay? And basically, this is the way I explained it before. Basically, just try it. Try inverse proportions, try direct proportions. Okay? The formulas will only work for which one it is, whether it's direct proportions or inverse proportions. Okay? Anyway, so hopefully that's reminded you a little bit of inverse proportions. There's some examples for you to do next. Okay, thank you.